A small group from SETI used the radio dishes at Arecibo to send out a message to whoever might be listening. Arecibo received a message back from an extraterrestrial, unknown source. The message turned out to be a new sequence of DNA with a rather friendly instructions on how to combine it with ours, and we allowed one to grow.
You created a monster with some kind of formula you got from outer space. The damn thing got away, and now you want us to hunt it down and kill it. Now, is that pretty close?
Welcome to Now Playing Podcast's Species Retrospective Series.
Welcome to the maternity ward from hell.
Hosted by Jason.
Man of action, I like that.
That's me.
Justin.
Guys like you are hard to find.
And Arnie.
A perfect hero for these imperfect times.
But be warned, this episode will contain detailed plot spoilers and strong language.
Yeah, it's time to get your hands dirty.
We hope you enjoy the show.
What are you waiting for?
Please, don't make me do this.
Do it.
Today we're discussing Species: The Awakening, starring Ben Cross, Helena Matson, Dominic Keating, Maureen Favola, directed by Nick Lyon. This is the now playing co-host who'd rather take one in the leg than two in the ass, Arnie.
This is Justin.
And I'm Jason.
One more round with the alien we go. And I think I know why they bothered.
Tell us.
This movie was released direct-to-video the same day that MGM Home Entertainment put out the Species 2-disc Collector's Edition DVD. So I think there was some synergy going on. Let's raise some interest in Species by putting a new movie out, and then people will have more interest in Species: The Awakening because there's a new 2-disc set of the original Species out, and it'll all tie together.
I'll buy it.
But this thing premiered on the Sci-Fi Channel first, right?
Yeah, but not by much. It was on Sci-Fi September 29th if you want to watch the nipple-less version, or you could just wait till October 2nd and see the boobs.
I'll wait till the second. But actually, I didn't see this on Sci-Fi or DVD. I became aware of it probably, in the year or two after it was released. But, Species 4, after Species 3, which I'd known was a straight-to-cable, Natasha Henstridge had moved on, and so had I at this point.
Yeah, I was blissfully unaware of this. I'm pretty sure in the back of my head I was somewhat aware there was a second Species. Wasn't too sure about the third, but yeah, there's no part of me was aware that there was a fourth installment.
Yeah, I think I found out about this movie when I was researching 4-part franchises that we could use to fill a few weeks of spring and summer for Now Playing, and I went, Species has 4, and Species 1 is celebrating a 30th anniversary. If it fits, it ships. So
for all we know, they could have scraped this together in the last couple of months and put it out for us and said, hey, we got a 4th. You guys could review it. I say, all right.
Can I remind you guys that when we started this, we were somewhat wide-eyed and bushy-tailed and excited that the guy, Dennis Feldman, who brought us Just One of the Guys, a movie that we all seem to remember fondly from our youth, is still getting his name put on this franchise. I'm sure he's not involved. It's probably just some sort of creator thing, but his name is at the front of every one of these movies still, and it's doing nothing for his reputation in my mind.
He also has sole writing credit on the Species comic adaptation. So, this guy is getting paid, and as I haven't seen any new scripts from him since Virus, I mean, get that money, Dennis.
Yeah.
But here we have a new director, Nick Lyon, who had a little bit of buzz. He's an American who went to Germany to study film and created an indie film called Punk Love, a romance film, and it got a bit of buzz.
That led him to Species 4 here?
Yeah, and he also had a thriller film called I Love You, Baby, and The way the director tells it on the bonus feature, yes, the Blu-ray did have bonus features. Thank you, Shout Factory, for finding Nick Lyon and finding Helena Matson so they can reminisce about Species 4. But Nick Lyon said his agent called him. There was an offer to do Species 4. He had no money, so he accepted the offer to do Species 4. And the next day he was on a plane to Mexico City where this was all made.
I do kind of like the fact that they take it out of the Washington, D.C. area, Maryland, Virginia, all the places that we're trying to figure out where the previous film was taking place. And we're going to put it in a new spot.
Yeah, change of scenery should be good.
I'm just getting those, like, Hellraiser Revelations vibes of when all the people went to Tijuana and fake Pinhead showed up.
You are totally justified there, Arnie, because this is as low budget as that Hellraiser movie. And you know what? I'll say it when we're going through the film. I actually got a little centibite off of the suits in this one. Just a little bit.
Well, they did intentionally go back to the Giger designs on this one. I mean, squint and you miss it. I just don't think they had the money to do it justice. But because of fan backlash to the third one, and I think there's more to backlash against than just the suit design there, they wanted to bring back the more Giger-ish aliens on this one.
Is that why the creature suits have kind of spikes coming out of the back like a xenomorph would? The zit is completely ripped off from the alien suit. I also got, and you tell me if you guys got this, a little bit in the face. Looked a little bit like the Jinn from Wishmaster. And I mean the direct-to-video sequels, where the makeup wasn't as good.
But, I mean, we're talking about Species The Awakening. They couldn't even decide on a title for this. It was Species 4, and then somebody came up with the great idea of Species Quattro.
Hey.
Right, I did see that.
And they even released a trailer online for Species Quattro.
That would have worked.
Species The Awakening, this is where they just kind of give you a generic subtitle. It's like Bloodlines or Generations. It doesn't really mean much, and I'm going to ask the question right now, what's Awakening in this film? And I'll ask it again at the end to find out if you guys noticed anything awakens.
I'll say the title is fitting. The alien part of Helena is awakening throughout this film, and they're trying to keep it repressed.
All right,
I'll give you that.
Fair enough.
I will say this, though. The day before we're recording this, and to let you know, this is coming out in July, we're recording this in May, I visited Stuart in the ICU yesterday, and it was one of his first days awake. And after visiting with him for a while, I said, I gotta get going. I have to watch Species 4 tonight. It was made for sci-fi. And he had a breathing tube in, but his facial expression and his hand gestures told me I think he'd rather be in the ICU getting dialysis where I left him than watching the Straight for Sci-Fi Species 4.
I'm not going to spoil my review of this movie yet, but I do not disagree with Stuart.
Yeah, we know what we're going into. We know what we're going to get here, but how bad is it going to be? And could it improve on Species 3? And in my final thoughts, I said that the worst thing about Species 3 was that it was boring. So maybe this could do something to hold my attention through what is a shorter runtime. I guess 98 minutes on this one.
Well, if I didn't recognize anybody last week and we were only in the third installment, this week I'm definitely out in the weeds, man. None of these people are even look like they're from community theater to me.
Oh, you don't know Ben Cross?
Should I?
Have you ever seen Chariots of Fire?
Oh man, so long ago.
Well, he was Harold Abrams in that movie. And we have reviewed him on Now Playing before. He was in Exorcist: The Beginning, which was the Rennie Harlin version of that film.
He's the guy who comes up to Skarsgård at the very beginning and says, you got to go find this artifact.
He was also Sarek, Spock's dad, in the 2009 Star Trek film.
Oh.
Probably that's immediately where I would recognize him from.
All right. Yeah, so I have seen his face before. I'll say that.
And he was in the Ray Liotta, Lauren Holly film Turbulence, which for some reason is burned in my brain.
What about Turbulence 2 or Turbulence 3?
I didn't know there were sequels, but now that's a fucking retrospective. God damn it.
Yeah, sorry to do that to you, man.
But Ben Cross, all right, I've never seen Chariots of Fire, but that's his claim to fame. The one I knew here was Dominic Keating, because I did watch Star Trek Enterprise for much of its original run, and he was Lieutenant Reed on that show.
And I think getting him for this movie around this time that he was on Enterprise, for them, they probably thought that's a get for the sci-fi fan.
Yeah, I mean, if you have somebody from Star Trek in your film and it's a sci-fi movie, and I don't even mean sci-fi SYFY, but a science fiction movie, let alone on the Sci-Fi Channel, yeah, that is a quote-unquote get, just like that Walter Koenig movie where he walked on the moon.
What was that, Moontrap?
Moontrap, that is it, yes.
Oh man, the stuff that we're unlocking tonight. You know who I did not know, and I don't see why anybody would have known her at the time, she'd only done a couple of things, is this lead actress, Helena Mattsson.
Yeah, she was Swedish and came to audition for a small role, and the casting director said, have you thought about trying out for the lead? And she had, in 1 year of speaking English, extinguished her entire accent, and she would go on to be in stuff that I've seen in very minor roles. She was in Iron Man 2 as Rebecca. I don't remember Rebecca. She was in that Bruce Willis film Surrogates that after 16 years of trying to watch, I finished last month.
Congratulations.
Another comic book adaptation. My favorite little piece of trivia about Helena Mattsson, I'll just read it straight from the IMDb. I didn't have to go far for this research. She earned the respect of actor Steven Seagal on the set of Code of Honor due to her admiration of martial arts and the fact she trains in judo. I had to say it because it's Steven Seagal.
Man, that's not the feather in the cap that you think it is. You know, you don't want to get too close to Steven Seagal.
I don't think the feather in her cap is the My Dinner with Hervé HBO TV movie about Hervé Villeshes.
I tried watching, I got 30 minutes into that, and I thought 30 minutes is good enough, and then I stopped.
But no, I didn't know Helena Mattsson, nor did I know Marlene Favela. Why would I know Marlene Favela? I have seen her, though. She was in the American version of Ugly Betty. I saw every episode of that series, but I don't remember these 2006 episodes well enough to pick out Marlene Favela.
Yeah, her resume is just a lot of soap operas, Mexican soaps.
So, I mean, what I'm hearing is there's a couple actors that had some decent careers early on, did some decent stuff. Now they're here. We've got some new faces.
The one that excited me, though, I truly was excited for one person in this movie. Wikipedia tells me Adam Wiley is Jared in this. Now, Adam Wiley was a child actor who I came to absolutely adore as the youngest son on the TV show Picket Fences. And he was also in Children of the Corn 5 and Child's Play 2 and Kindergarten Cop, and just continues to be a working actor. And I'm like, I want to see what the hell Adam Wiley was up to in 2007.
Well, apparently it was this, but I don't even remember a Jared. Going through my notes right now.
Oh no, you can go through your notes all you want. I watched the movie. I then downloaded the subtitles to the movie and searched it for Jared. I then watched the movie again at 1.5 speed after looking at a picture of Adam Wiley today, so I know what I'm looking for. I couldn't find him. I'm like, was it the boyfriend that Miranda has a date with that we see for 5 seconds? Nope. Oh, was it one of the medicine techs who gets murdered? Nope. Oh, was it one of the students in Miranda's class at the Nope.
No?
So does the guy really have a credit in this movie?
Well, IMDb says he's uncredited, and Wikipedia has him listed, but I couldn't find him.
Anybody can tweak Wikipedia. I've tried it a billion times.
Poor Jared.
Well, we don't know where Jared is, but let's find out what everybody else is doing in this movie. Arnie, why don't you give him the plot to Species: The Awakening?
Helena Mattsson is Miranda Hollander, a Greek mythology professor at Parker University. She was raised by her uncle Tom, played by Ben Cross. And might I just say, when she starts calling out for Uncle Tom, I thought we were going to have some racial allegories going on. Tom might have a cabin.
I was struck by how often she referred to him as Uncle Tom. Like, every time we get it, you say it so we know the relationship, and then you just call him Uncle or Tom or whatever. We don't need Uncle Tom every time.
It's like you said about the last movie, Justin. Why do we have a character who is a Dean and then a character named Dean? You could just change that character. Why can't he be, all right, not Uncle Ben. That's pretty famous for Rice and Spider-Man. But Uncle Joe, you know?
Yeah.
Why does he have to be Uncle Tom?
They could even use Jared. Apparently they didn't need that name in this movie.
Uncle Jared.
What Miranda doesn't know is that she is a DNA spliced alien that was created by Tom and Tom's old student, Forbes McGuire, played by Star Trek Enterprise's Dominic Keating. Tom has been keeping Miranda's alien side in check by giving her regular injections of human hormones. When Miranda gets horny on a date, her alien side starts to take over. She murders a bunch of people at a hospital and then passes out. Unsure how to help her, Tom takes her to Mexico to find Forbes. Forbes has been continuing his alien research, creating hybrids, and using alien DNA to clone people's dead pets and relatives. He's also made himself a hot alien girlfriend named Azura. Forbes agrees to help save Miranda, but to do so they need to kill a human woman and take her DNA. Miranda doesn't want to do this, but Tom and Azura find a suitable criminal donor. Now better, Miranda's personality has changed. Like the species aliens before her, she wants to mate and reproduce. She goes out looking for a suitable sperm donor and kills a few people and alien hybrids that are left wanting. Tom goes after Miranda, but is attacked by Azura. Tom seemingly kills Azura in a struggle. Forbes is also looking for Miranda and finds her, but she seduces Forbes, then kills him. Now pregnant, Miranda is found by Tom and taken back to Forbes' lab. Miranda asks Tom to kill her before the alien personality completely erases her humanity. That's when Azura, not dead after all, attacks Tom. Miranda and Azura fight, but Miranda is stabbed and killed. Tom then kills Azura with a shotgun blast and burns Forbes' lab to the ground as he leaves and credits roll.
And this time they really don't waste time with credits in space. We kind of cut right to this aerial view of a college campus as the credits roll. We don't get a good look at the university sign. It's kind of covered up, but we get a good look at Miranda's backside as she's coming up the stairs. I'm going to just say this. The actress is like 20. She's a professor. I know she's an alien. It's supposed to be like a Doogie Howser thing. Like she's like alien hybrid Hauser, something like. They don't really explain it. But this is where I know that, all right, this movie's not taking itself seriously at all.
Yeah, Helena Matson would probably be the right age to be a grad student who would teach undergrad at that point, but I don't get the impression that she is also a student. And here we're going to get our metaphor about Prometheus and the fire being handed to man, and instead of fire, in this case, we're going to be dealing with alien DNA. But I love that she asks the students, how did Zeus punish them with the source of all mortal suffering? And people guess viruses, plagues, floods. The answer is women. But when she says women, she does this like spokesmodel, ta-da, like they punished you with me kind of pose.
All the boys in class are looking at her. They're, we want her. Oh, women, they'll be the death of us. Yeah, this is silly stuff right here. And then immediately she goes home to Uncle Tom. Oh, you're right. That does sound bad.
They did everything in this opening scene but play Hot for Teacher by Van Halen.
She is wearing the little outfit. You know, she's got the collar over her jacket. It's unbuttoned.
And she goes to see Uncle Tom and talk about how she has a job offer at Oxford, but can't leave poor Uncle Tom alone. And I'm thinking, why not? I mean, is he infirm? Is he disabled? Does he need a caretaker? No, he's just lonely. Get him a dating app and go to Oxford.
Right. There you go.
Oh, but the chemistry between these two, If I had known going into this that these were going to be our two main characters that we're going to follow, I would have said, let's sit down and recast this because these guys are so stilted to one another. Oh, man, we are on sci-fi.
We've definitely seen better from Ben Cross than what he's going to give in this film. But I think he also knows that he's in a cheap Species 4. And it is cheap. Again, I mean, we get that overhead shot at the very beginning, and then we get a pretty nicely lit college classroom, but then we're right back to the non-lighting of the previous film. She goes home to Uncle Tom, and the house is lit by candles.
Well, they're trying to hide the fact that this is Mexico, I think. We're supposed to be in the States at the beginning, and they're just trying to keep it where we see as little as possible so we don't realize they're in a hacienda.
Yeah, lots of stained glass and ornate designs around it. They're not hiding it too well, but even the university has hints of that too, where it's just like Aztec-inspired designs on the windows, and it's like, okay, we get it. But they're also, the lighting in this movie, they're just going overboard with gels. It's in blue tones and green tones and yellow tones.
So green. And once again, they've set up a plot for us that has to do with biology and DNA manipulation. It's kind of leaning into the same thing from the last movie, but what we've already established through the plot summary is that she's an alien. She just doesn't know it yet.
But I figured this out pretty quickly when she starts telling Uncle Tom she has a date that night, which I honestly thought this movie was going to go somewhere where, like, Uncle Tom was into her, and he was a creepy Uncle Tom.
Oh, it's going to get creepy later.
And that's why he didn't want her to go, and why he's offering to move to Oxford with her, because what you want when you move to a new country is your creepy uncle hanging around. But they're going to move pretty quick to letting us know she's an alien, because we're just going to cut from her leaving Uncle Tom home alone to his, pasta sauce or whatever he was making.
Yeah, blending up something.
Yes, a red wine sauce.
To her naked and veiny in a park being found by a jogger who was not Jared.
I was going to ask. This was my last shot at who could be.
We're going to find Jared in this movie for you, my man. Yeah, she's in the park. Ben Cross comes home. She's not home. But what did the date do to her? Then we get a little bit of a flashback, some speciesist things. And I'm thinking to myself, did she go species all over her date? Did she, punch the tongue through the back of the head? What happened?
We will never know what happened to that date who is not Jared.
No, this movie gets kind of jumpy, especially here in the beginning. Like, we see her in the park. We see Uncle Tom. We see her in the hospital. Now we're in the hospital. She's being wheeled into the hospital with the veins popping out. We're not sure if she's dead, dying, or what, but she comes to rest in, I guess, an x-ray room? She's just laying on a slab.
Yeah, and the x-rays. We talked in the last review about trying to figure out how these aliens fit inside their human bodies. And now, for the first time, we're seeing somebody does an x-ray. The x-ray machine finds abnormalities, and we also get a line that these blood levels, they can't be right. These aren't human.
From the x-ray tech.
And the x-ray is clearly not a human skull or a shape that would fit in a human head.
No.
It's a freaking Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Yes. And, okay, so they've already taken x-rays. The radiologist thinks it's a joke, so they send the tech back in to do more. And this time when he flips the x-ray machine on, it's like they remember with Eve when they had to advance her genes with those infrared lights to the head or the whatever they were doing. That's what it's reminding me of here, because Miranda starts like seizing on the table and then goes full alien and starts killing people.
Yeah, it's a killing spree. We get a tongue through a lady's eye, which is pretty cool. I mean, she kills a lot of people in this hospital. And then she puts on the new suit that we talked about. This is where I got the Jin for Wishmaster thing.
Yeah, a little bit of Green Goblin without the green paint looking alien going on now.
Am I crazy with the Cenobite? Do you see Cenobite in there too?
Yeah, I can see it.
It is kind of cool. Again, they don't do a lot of close-ups because they don't want you to see how bad it really is. But I would say it's an improvement on the last ones.
The one thing we don't see, and this was a shock to me, is nipple. Miranda is found nude in the park, but her arms are covering her up in a very safe for television pose.
Mm-hmm.
And then she's in a hospital gown, and I'm like, Well, is this going to be the first Alien film that does not lean into the titillation factor of the previous three? And in her retrospective interview on the Blu-ray, Helena Matson said when she took the role, she made it clear there are things that I will do and things that I won't do, and there was negotiations around how much nudity and things, so she was not willing to go full Henstridge.
Wow.
Yeah, I noticed that too. And, I think I just chalk it up to, this is made for TV. And so, if they're not wanting to do 2 cuts of it, maybe this one's just going to be PG-13 and with no nipples.
Yeah, I'm going to say that that's a mistake. I mean, this is your bread and butter. So if you're going to make a Species film, you have to have the sex and the violence. You have to put them together. And you got to up the game every time. I said that about Species 2. They did up the game after Species 1. The last movie slowed everything down. This one's not starting off too great.
So after her killing spree in the hospital, Uncle Tom somehow ends up at the hospital.
Yeah, we saw the meds asking her name, and then Tom gets a phone call. It's all cut together like a dream because Miranda is kind of out of it, and all the words are echoey. But she says her name's Miranda Hollander, and I guess there's only one other Hollander in the phone book, so they know to call Tom.
Oh, jeez.
So Tom does get notified. He shows up at the hospital. He sees a wake of dead bodies strewn about. No cops are there. Nobody else is panicking.
Yeah, did she kill everybody in this hospital? Hospitals have a lot of people and a lot of patients.
Mm-hmm.
Unless it's a hospital from Halloween 2. But everybody's dead. He finds her. She's turned back human. She's all veiny, though. But he has a serum that's going to fix that and rush her out of there. She has no memory of going full species, which is how I'll call it. Going full species, and he just has to pack her fast, and we gotta go to Mexico.
We gotta get this movie to Mexico, boys.
They went south where there's cheaper shooting budgets.
Yeah, but they're going to Mexico by way of where? Because in one scene, they're driving through a lot of mountains, and they're still not in Mexico yet, so I'm like, that is not California. That is not New Mexico.
It's not northern Mexico.
It's not any state that borders Mexico.
Nope, they're either deep in Mexico already, or they're in the Pacific Northwest.
Yes, thank you.
But this is where Tom's going to tell Miranda, I'm not really your uncle. You never really had parents. I've lied to you your entire life. And the truth is, we got a message from space, and me and one of my students, Forbes, made you. You were one of our experiments. And I put down one of the, thinking there were going to be more Miranda generation aliens. There's no more perfect aliens like Miranda. We're going to find a whole lot of hybrids that Forbes has been working on. But I thought when he said you were one of the, that we might have a big bad who was like Miranda's sister.
They don't make any attempt to tie into the previous films. They could have easily had written it to say Uncle Tom was a scientist at SETI, or he was in the lab with Ben Kingsley, or in the second movie, he was there with Marg.
It's the same writer as last time. Just say I was on Project Athena.
Yeah, Project Athena. Jesus.
This is the part of the movie, too, Jason, where I start to realize, oh, wait, this isn't a continuation. Not only is it not a continuation, it doesn't seem to be connected to the other movies at all. Like, this could be a brand new start for this franchise.
Yeah, this is not a reboot, but certainly an anthology story of yet another specified, genetic, spliced alien.
I love that. An anthology of species. Okay, yeah, let's go with it then. All right, we just got to Mexico. Uncle Tom has explained that he designed her. He's also explained to her that she's so intelligent that she can read books without opening them. He gives her the car manual.
We saw this in the last one with Sarah and the chess book.
She read a book of the chess?
She absorbed a book.
Yeah, she didn't know how to play chess. He handed her the manual and she instantly knew every rule of chess and was a grandmaster.
That is such a useful superpower.
It's how she's so smart.
I wish I had it, seriously.
Do you have any idea how much that would help me with now playing? Oh, we're doing Apollo 13? Touch the book.
Yeah.
Oh, now I know Apollo 13.
That's hella good. All right, so she absorbs the driver's manual just as they get into Mexico to another kind of cheap, dimly lit hotel. He's just going to ask the guy, the hotel clerk, if you know anybody in town named Forbes, you ever meet a Forbes? He doesn't ask about Jared too. Maybe he could help.
Yes, the clerk is not Jared. The little boys playing soccer on the street are not Jared. But he's going around, he has pictures of Forbes, he's showing them to everyone, and he's being followed by a nun with albino eyes.
A goth nun, right? Like, she looks like something right out of a Skrillex video.
I thought it was hot, you guys, I gotta say. Why is this happening? Does he know her? I don't know.
It's an important detail that he keeps asking about Forbes specifically. He has photos of him that he's showing people. We don't get a clear enough shot of what those photos are, so we don't know what Forbes looks like yet. But he keeps saying Forbes as he's looking for him. He's on the street. He's followed by this nun. Things go a little wonky, but just keep that in mind. He's asking for Forbes.
Yeah, the nun chases him like she wants to kill him. We don't know why.
And I'm thinking she's the flying nun, the way she leaps onto that roof and is chasing him. And she has these weird eyebrows and jawline that show her alien physiology. And he's running from her, as anyone would. She does that tongue thing where her tongue is like 50 feet long and grabs him around the ankle. But oops, La Policia pull up behind her and she's like, oh crap, I gotta let him go.
Convenient.
The tongue goes back in the mouth and she just walks away. I love that. It's so stupid already. Where can we go next? Oh, I know. Let's go back to looking for Forbes and we're going to run into the rich Texan from The Simpsons.
Could this guy be more over the top? Holy cow.
I'm Leland Fisk from San Antonio.
Yeah, wearing the bolo tie and talking with the southern drawl. This Roger Cudney who plays him doesn't even have a wiki page because I thought he might have played a southerner in something else, but not that I could find. But can either of you explain to me two things? First, explain to me why when the southerner is talking with Uncle Tom, the cinematography is extreme close-ups of their mouths.
Ugh, so gross.
I can't explain it. I mean, it's just the hallmark of a really bad movie.
I mean, it was just weird. But then you mentioned, Jason, this is a not very long movie. Maybe they literally just needed to add time to it, but I don't understand why this character Leland tells Tom, go to this taxi driver, and the taxi driver is gonna take you to Forbes, but it's all a second setup from a second alien hybrid that Leland is trying to get Tom killed. What is Leland's motivation in all of this? What is the taxi driver's motivation in all of this?
The rich Texan, Leland Fisk, says, put your questions in an envelope. Get in the cab. It's going to take you to this garage of some sort. And yeah, the cab driver turns around. The species is out with all kinds of alien coming out of his mouth. Like, are they trying to kill Ben Cross? Why? Like, they really wanted to showcase the makeup in this scene. They've got almost like a jaw thing that comes out of his... It looks like the thing from Carpenter's thing. The final monster. The jaw comes out of his mouth, and then it's got like a xenomorph tongue thing coming out. I don't know why it's trying to kill him. I know that also the nun is still wandering around in here. But we get Ben Cross driving the taxi right into the alien guy who's drooling green blood all over the place, pours gasoline all over the guy, and then lights him on fire. This is not going to get you to Forbes, dude.
No.
And we're nowhere closer to finding Jared.
Best I can tell with what is going on here is maybe Forbes has some sort of plan to weed out anybody who might be poking around because they're on to him somehow.
Oh, you're doing the movie a favor.
Except when we finally get to Forbes, Forbes is like, no, I wasn't trying to kill you. Why would I try to kill you?
Right. Yeah.
So I don't know what Azura is trying to do by killing Tom. I don't know what Leland is fucking doing at all. And I don't know why this taxi driver is attacking. I will give it credit, though. I did like the mouth in a mouth in a mouth on the taxi driver. You said the thing. I'm thinking Alien, the way it has jaws inside of jaws that extend.
Oh, I think they stole from both movies and put them together.
But it's kind of a cool look. And at least we have alien hybrids that aren't just allergic to everything. This time we have some alien hybrids that can fight and morph and things.
Yeah, take shots and all that stuff. But with all this weirdness going on, the weirdest choice this movie makes, I think, out of all of them, is think about this. He was sent by Leland to this taxi, and he specifically said, be there at midnight. So it's already midnight. However much time elapses in this taxi, in this fight, let's say a half hour, whatever, maybe an hour. He goes back to the hotel to confront Leland over this, who is now post-midnight just in his shitty hotel room shaving for some reason.
Shaving in the dark. He's shaving in the dark because there's barely any light.
What the hell is going on?
And it's such an extreme close-up. Did the director or the cameraman have a fetish with this actor's face? Because we get an extreme close-up of his shaving cream and things, too. Is it like, we got to get the texture on this digital camera? And then Miranda comes in, and does she kill Leland? Does she torture Leland? We see Leland writhing on the floor as they leave the room. I don't know if he's mortally wounded or how they got the real information out of him.
Yeah, I don't think they got any answers out of him. I'm like,
no, they got Forbes' location. They go straight to Forbes from Leland.
Oh,
yep.
Jesus.
And like you said, not sure if he's dead or not, because I see him moving around after they're leaving the room. So it's like, okay, what was that all about?
How does he know Forbes? Why does he know where Forbes is? Who is Leland? He's not Jared.
And he's not going to be coming back.
So we finally get to Forbes.
Do we? This is my problem. I'm sorry. We've been saying Forbes, Forbes, Forbes. We introduced this new guy who they immediately call McGuire. I'm like, who's McGuire? Where's Forbes? I did not catch that it was Forbes McGuire.
Forbes feels like it should be the last name when it is actually the man's first name.
Seriously, I went through the majority of this movie thinking that Forbes had been dead and we were never going to meet him. This other guy took over.
Well, poor Arnie went through the whole movie thinking that he was going to meet this guy, Jared.
And now I'm looking for Forbes.
Nothing but disappointment.
So Forbes is getting fucked by the nun Azura, and two things stick out to me. The first is...
What's the first thing that sticks out?
The left one and then the right one.
Okay. Not body shaming in any way. I'm surgeon shaming. Those are bad.
Agreed.
Mexico's worst.
I know people who go south of the border for cheap plastic surgery. If this is one of those results, you get what you pay for.
Wellness tourism. That's what they call it.
But the other thing is, Uncle Tom and Miranda barge in. Forbes pushes Azura off of him and runs downstairs. He's wearing boxers already.
Yeah.
I thought that too.
I'm like, was he fucking through the boxers? Was he just using the fly? He's not pulling the boxers up as he's going down the stairs, so it's like he had the boxers on the whole time.
Yeah.
It's distractingly weird, and I'm going to bring this up again later.
No, I know what you mean. I hate that, and we've seen it. It's just sloppy editing. And you, as a normal human being, you're in the right to say, oh, come on. You weren't wearing those boxers.
Yeah, this whole scene is dizzying, right? Like, all of a sudden we're introduced to the concept that this movie isn't PG-13. We're getting full nudity at this point. We're getting this naked woman writhing on top of this guy.
And they have bad sex, too. Like, he's like, the whole time. Nobody knows how to fuck in these movies.
I have to readjust my thinking on this movie, right? Because we had talked earlier that, I thought we established that this was going to be a tamer version of Species for TV. But that's not where we are. We are, I think, probably some of the most hardcore porno that we've seen in these movies now.
Yeah, I mean, it's not quite femalian here, but it is a little bit racier than what we've seen in the past. It's a little bit more softcore in that we see the act go on. Usually it's alienus interruptus. The penetration that occurs is a skull, not a sexual organ. And so to see the actual mating occur is, I guess, new. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing we've seen so far are the two rubber suits try to embrace each other clumsily in those cuts.
Right.
So Forbes got his hot naked lady friend. He comes on down in his boxers. He remembers Miranda, calls her G178. So he knows that she is one of the alien children that Uncle Tom and he made in their lab.
And yeah, he's like, I didn't know you were here, Tom. I didn't know Azura attacked you, Tom. And then we get these close-ups between Miranda and Azura where it's almost if you changed the music score to this and put in some Morricone from The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, the whistling, you would think they're having a stare down as to which is the worst actress. Because there's a lot of, again, close-ups of Azura and Miranda, and I'm writing down, is this lust? Is this animosity? Is this jealousy? Is this voguing? I do not know what the hell these two are doing.
You know, the music is supposed to lead you in a scene like that, but these last two movies, well, I love the score in any of these movies, but the last two especially, you could tell that they're cheap.
Yeah, much like the direct-to-video Hellraiser films, you couldn't afford to keep using Christopher Young's amazing score from Hellraiser or Species, so they can't even use that as a crutch here. But yeah, Miranda's gonna pass out again.
They have to stabilize her hormones.
Yeah, he injects her with human hormones. Estrogen supplements? I mean, she doesn't look menopausal, but I guess she is because she only has a couple days left to live. She's at the end of her lifespan.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of those science-y things from back in that day. There was this HGH stuff going around, right? I'm not sure if it's still a thing or if they've renamed it, but human growth hormones. Maybe they're using that as an inspiration here. But the idea is that we're finding out that Miranda is sick, and just how sick she is going to be surprising to Uncle Tom.
Yeah, he tells her there's nothing we can do.
Oh yeah, they're going to be throwing the buzzwords around. This entire movie is brought to you by stem cells.
Would that have been something in the news at the time? I'm trying to recall.
Yeah, because that's around the time I think that it was the whole stem cells are taken from aborted fetuses argument. And
Yes, big political thing, yeah.
Yeah, so they were trying to make stem cells illegal and...
Well, Forbes tells Ben Cross that Miranda's at the end of her lifespan, and what does she want to do before she dies? She wants to see a church. She wants to go talk to God or whatever. And then she wants to turn herself in. What for?
Murder. She wants to go back home and turn herself in for the hospital murders.
What I mean is she's going to be dead before she even gets to trial.
Yeah, and there is a plan Forbes has to save her life, but you have to find a donor. And Miranda's like, I'm not a killer. Even though I killed all those people in the hospital, I'm not a killer.
The difference is that she doesn't seem to be in control when she aliens out. She has no memory of those times. And I don't know if that's been mentioned before.
Yeah, neither do we, because they don't show us those scenes because they were too expensive to shoot.
But yeah, she passes out and Tom goes on the prowl. And we haven't seen this since Patrick in part 2 when a guy's out looking for a woman. And I really thought this movie was going in a weird fucking direction when the first woman he picks looks like someone's abuela. He's like following the short, pudgy, older woman. And I'm just like, well, that's unexpected.
Not the cream of the crop for the hormones, so maybe he needs to keep shopping a little bit.
So he keeps going to is she a hooker? Is she just a woman? Is she a honeypot trap? I guess that's what she is, because she's going to try to seduce him. And he forgets about poor Miranda, and he's about to get down with this Mexican babe, and then she pulls a gun.
Hell yeah, man. No, he came to dance, you know? The girl, he wants to do a little sexy dancing, a little salsa, a little bachata, get it on.
This movie is doing no favors for the Mexico City Board of Tourism at all. This movie is so dingy, dirty, grimy. Every character in the street is either a potential hooker or a dancer at a club or a John, but there's no normal people walking around. They are in the worst neighborhood possible in this movie.
Yeah, it's not even Mexico City. They say it's Alcazar, Mexico. I don't know where Alcazar is.
But it really doesn't matter. They're not helping Mexican tourism at all with this. It's intentionally, well, maybe not intentionally. Maybe this is the sets they could afford, because every location is gross and grimy.
And a lot of these are location shoots. They're at real bars, real hotels, real places in Mexico, because they can't afford sets.
Mm-hmm.
Except for Forbes' lab. But Azur, I don't understand this character's through line at all. We're introduced to her, she's trying to kill Tom, and then she seems a little bit put out when, like, Forbes is saying, I don't care when Azur dies, I'll give myself a blonde with green eyes next time. And then she's going to help Tom get this Colette mugger and take her back to be harvested to save Miranda.
Yeah, I figured they'd do it this way because we wouldn't feel bad because the lady's a mugger. But then when they drag her back to the lab, this lady puts on a good scare. She is freaking out. I kind of liked it.
And boy, did they stretch for time in this scene, though, man. This scene, between her freaking out and the procedure, this movie only runs for 1 hour and 37 minutes. And boy, oh boy, are they stretching for time here. This scene is where I'm sitting here going, okay, let's move it along. We get what's happening. You've shown us what we need to know. Let's get to the next thing.
Oh, I still have questions because we see that Miranda's vital signs are critical, but all of a sudden she's in a cocoon. We've only seen cocoons when they go from child to adult. And I'm like, did she form this cocoon on her own? Did Forbes make a cocoon that has this like alien skin on it? It has like the grooves in it, like the Giger art. I don't know where this cocoon came from.
The weird part is when they have both Miranda and this victim on the beds, you can see the cocoon is already there in the background of the scene.
So does Forbes have these cocoons just around, and that's how he rebirths pets?
They don't explain it, but you know what? That could be it. That could be how he does the pets, because we're going to get these kind of flash scenes now of Miranda and the victim kind of both in the cocoons. You know, they're naked, so we get like a Leanna Quigley Nightmare 4 shot with the boobs pressed up against a cocoon. You see that? And so they're going to impregnate the victim with alien DNA after she's in the cocoon? The cocoon thing is crazy stupid, but it's kind of fun to watch.
What I found fun to watch is we finally do get some Miranda nudity as she exits the cocoon, and maybe this is part of the metamorphosis, as we weren't going to get to see Miranda, but now that she's more alien, we'll get to see nudity because it's alien nudity. But she's now more alien, and it's shocking to me when she's like, oh, just let me do one thing. Let me fuck this girl here. And I'm like, okay.
Yes. She comes out of the cocoon fully nude, fully horny.
But forgive me for being pedantic in the midst of girl-on-girl possible action here, but don't the aliens want to just procreate, which cannot be done through lesbianism?
Yeah, they just turned up the horniness in this batch, I guess.
I really thought that we might go in a different direction, and I thought that it might be good here. I thought it would turn into a thing where maybe they have to hunt human victims to find the right one to save Miranda, and it would turn into, you know, some sort of conflict with Uncle Tom or something. No, it's just one victim, thrown in a cocoon, she comes out naked, super horny. She wants to fuck everybody in this room.
Yeah, she tries to fuck Tom. She's like, why don't we grab one of Forbes' bottles of top shelf tequila? Now I want to go. If Forbes has top shelf tequila, I'm learning to like tequila, especially the better stuff. So
yeah, don't trust the worm in that bottle, though.
She says, you're not my real uncle. So that means I can get it on.
God, that's a step away from the I'm your sister from Joe Dirt.
And then, well, again, we get sloppy editing. I'm just going to point out, Miranda does come out naked, but she is wearing, the little support garment that they'll give you for your lady parts down there. But they show it because the editing is so bad. And then seemingly randomly out of nowhere, a lady shows up to pick up her dog from Forbes.
Yeah, just to kind of remind us what Forbes is actually up to, right?
And I'm just wondering, do these dogs have prehensile tongues? Do they kill their owners?
I wonder why she has to sign a release form. She gives the guy cash, she's picking a dog up in the alley, and he's like, make sure you sign the release form. I'm like, what the fuck for your alien hybrid dog?
And Forbes has just had a great scientific breakthrough by merging the human and alien stem cells, but he's in a pissy mood because he tells this woman as she gets her frou-frou poodle back, it's a fucking alien facsimile. You might want to remember that.
It's a great line on paper.
And it's growling at her too. You know, she's like, oh, baby, baby. And you hear the sound effects of this dog going, "Arr." I'm just waiting for the dog to puncture a hole in this woman's head, but it never happens.
We never see the woman or the dog ever come back.
Nope.
The dog's not Jared, is it? Not named Jared.
But then we're going to get an argument between Tom and Forbes where it's like, this is all your fault, McGuire. You always did sloppy work. Why did you go to him if he's always sloppy?
Only choice.
But no, we're finally going to get some alien killing now. Miranda's on the prowl, and because we only have enough budget for a few people to talk, if you spoke in this film, you are going to be a target for Miranda, so that means you, hotel clerk.
Yeah, first dude she sees is like clothes off.
Yeah, she's wearing like a negligee with nothing underneath, and she just takes it right off behind the desk of the hotel lobby.
Yeah, a lot of hair covering up the nipples. I noticed that, and I was like, okay, so are we rated R or not?
Well, I'm also wondering what this hotel guy's doing, right? We first see him comes into scene like carrying a tray with like coffee and stuff like that. So really, this sleazy hotel has like coffee room-to-room service? What are we supposed to be thinking here?
I love that he's like, cover yourself up. And then we find out that he got a little alien inside him too. So she found another alien guy. He must have gotten out of the lab. And are they going to get it on?
Yeah, they're all over the town. Like half this town is Forbes hybrids.
Everybody but the rich Texan.
But we're going to find out, Blinken, you missed this line later on, but Forbes is going to say, oh, I made my hybrid sterile, so that's why Miranda killed this hotel clerk.
Mm-hmm. He was thinking ahead, right? We learned that trick in the last one. Make them sterile so they can't continue to mate and eventually take over humanity.
And so we get the usual tongue punctures the head. I did like the touch, though. You asked why he was bringing in coffee, so that she could just demurely sip the coffee while his dead body is on the floor next to her. It was just kind of a funny moment. And then Miranda goes to Club Los Angeles.
I love it. Hey, you know what? You know, outside of where we live, they have crazy names for clubs. I went to a club once in another town called Club Extreme, and all I could do is laugh at the name of that club.
She likes the red dress that the singer has, and so she's going to barge into the singer's dressing room. And I love that the singer, like, pulls a switchblade, and then we get this, like, CGI forked tongue from Miranda, and the singer's like, oh, have my dress.
Yeah.
Yeah, it felt very like T2 kind of thing.
Yeah, I wrote that down too. While we're in the Species series, yes, and we're seeing the aliens that we've seen before, maybe slightly different. The portrayal here is sometimes Terminator, sometimes alien, sometimes werewolf, sometimes vampire. It's just kind of all over the place in what these characters are and what they can do. And not to mention what kills them.
Dude, it is sometimes Mortal Kombat, because the very next scene, Uncle Tom goes back to the church. He's confronted by Azura, who starts, like, she's got Baraka spikes coming out of her wrists. And then there's a fight. Then he crushes her with a giant cross. Ben Cross knocks down the big cross. It crushes Azura. Why did she want to kill him?
I don't know. I think she's upset that Forbes was going to replace her, but I don't understand any of her motivations. And I was also thinking Mortal Kombat character. I couldn't remember Baraka as the name, but that's what I was thinking. These practical arm spikes on her look so cheap. So cheap. Like Mortal Kombat Annihilation's Baraka looked better than this.
Ooh.
And when he throws the cup and the giant cross falls on her and splits her head open, I'm like, God, that's all it takes to kill one now? I mean, these aliens are getting weaker every single movie. I'm so glad she actually comes back, because I thought this is such a lame way. Setting one on fire, we've always said burning them can kill them. So setting the cab guy on fire, sure. But here, just crushed by a cross, I was not feeling it.
I mean, it was a pretty big cross. Like, it should have smushed her completely. She should have been goo. But yeah, when we see her laying there, it's like, yeah, she's not dead yet.
Then we get back to Miranda. She's back in the club. Latin nights are where it's at, by the way. If you ever go to the club, that's where it's at. She's got the attention of this one dude who comes up and does like this weird tongue thing in her ear, like that kind of thing. It's only so Miranda can say, oh yeah, I'll show you a tongue thing. And then goes right through the head.
And that's not Jarrett?
Nope, not Jarrett. Jarrett is not Mexican. But I did go to the scene looking for Jarrett because I thought maybe.
Why does she kill this guy in full public view of everybody? It doesn't make any goddamn sense.
Well, that's why everyone runs from the club and is screaming, a monster, to Forbes, who's just outside.
Lucky break that he's driving by.
And so he gets with Miranda, and Miranda's like, "You've wanted to fuck me since the moment we met." Meanwhile, she says this while naked. They've put alien scarring over her breasts and down her shoulders.
It looks like the appliances they put on Mystique, on Rebecca Romijn in the X-Men movies. This is what you mean by these kind of scales that they put on her. And we gotta talk about this song that they put on for this seduction scene. This song, it's called Dark as Love by Luscious Redhead. It is a complete ripoff of Massive Attack's Angel.
Yes, thank you. I was like, what is this song? Because Massive Attack's Angel is the love me, love me, love me, love me, love me, love me, love me. That song? Because I just was waiting. Yeah, I was just waiting for that part of the song, and it never came.
Yeah, but it sounds like it in every other way. And she wants to seduce Forbes here, and he's like, kind of want to jab you, but she stops him.
And, okay, so even though my personal reaction to this is making me think about Army of Darkness and the woman who says to Ash, "You found me beautiful once," and his response is, "Honey, you got real ugly." That's what I'm thinking Forbes should do, but Forbes decides, what the hell? I fuck aliens all the time. What's one more? He takes his pants down. She pushes him down, okay? He still has the boxer shorts on. She straddles him and is riding him. He still very clearly has the boxer shorts on. I'm like, is this his form of safe sex? Instead of a condom, it's cotton?
He's just a dry humper. What are you going to do?
Yeah, he's a loud dry humper. This feels like he's getting hurt in these scenes. This just must be what alien sex is like, because he is always making noises like he's in some serious pain.
What bothers me here is just the lack of continuity in whatever they're trying to do, right? Like, so they're trying to show us that Miranda is slowly turning alien. She's not full alien yet. When Arnie, you pointed out that they have some sort of prosthetic over her breast so her nipples aren't showing anymore. But then we get her flashing into the actual full alien during the sex like we have throughout all these movies. And that alien has full nipples.
Yo, that alien goes full Medusa for a second, too.
Yeah. It's just very inconsistent. It's like, I understand behind the scenes, it's just that the actress has probably got line items on her contract of how much nipple can be shown for how many minutes or whatever. But in the movie, it's just confusing for no reason.
It is, but you know what else I miss? I miss the nipple tentacles. Those were so great in the first Species. And why have we not had more nipple tentacle scenes?
Did you ever think you'd say that out loud?
Not if I'm not watching anime.
All right, so she turns back into the weird djinn-looking thing, and she tongue kills Forbes. And meanwhile, Azura, you mentioned Arnie, she's still alive. She wakes up, and then in comes Ben Cross to find Forbes. Oh, and here's where I'm going to complain about the acting again. Watch this actor, the Star Trek Enterprise actor, when he's dead, he's still breathing.
I thought I noticed that. I thought he was breathing a little bit.
It's so sloppy.
And Miranda is taken back to the lab, and she's telling Tom, you know what you have to do. The human side of me is dying. I don't want what's left. She's pregnant, and whatever's in her is already like pushing at the skin and things. We know it doesn't take long to gestate, but this is when Azura comes in for the final fight. And now let me give this movie a compliment and then an insult. The compliment.
Okay.
In 3 different movies, I've said that I think they're trying to make the alien sympathetic. We were kind of sympathetic to Syl at the beginning of Species. They had the like werewolf thing with Patrick for a little while in Species 2 that I think was supposed to make us care, but the actor didn't. In the last movie, Sarah wasn't pure evil. We had the other one to be the evil one, so we should have some sympathy for Sarah. Out of all 4 movies, I do find Miranda and her desire for atonement and her desire to stay human to be the most sympathetic alien of the quadrilogy.
I'll agree with that.
I'm going to disagree and think I feel that Eve or Syl was a little more sympathetic. But what's the insult that you wanted to follow it up with?
Okay, these rubber suits are shit. And when we do get the Miranda versus Azura fight, it's so poorly lit, and the suits look so similar that other than the Baraka spikes that one of them has, I can't even tell who's who.
Right. there's a point where one of them is apparently dead, and we're like, okay, which one is that? And then she pops back up and is like, oh, okay, so that one's not dead. Oh, this was the one we have to kill. And I don't think they were meant to be that confusing.
No, and I mean, I think the lighting is so low to hide how bad these suits are.
Oh, most definitely. Yes.
But because the lighting is so low, I can't tell these suits apart. And so, yeah, I'm like, who died, who lived? But I think we're supposed to think Miranda won, and then Miranda gets stabbed through the back by Azura, and Miranda's going to die.
It is ridiculous. You mentioned the lighting. There is strobe light happening during this final fight, and it's going so slowly that we should be able to tell the difference between who's who. But I think it's that Azura just has a meaner face. I think that's how we're supposed to tell. And then at one point, she actually does come back to her human naked self with her Baraka spikes. And that is where she gets taken out by Miranda with a spike to the back of the head there.
Then we get a CGI shot that's bad, but yet almost too cool for this movie. Because Uncle Tom has a shotgun, and he's going to shoot Azura, and we get this, like, bullet time, see the buckshot come out of the shotgun.
Yes.
And then the camera whip pans as the buckshot hits Azura. I'm not going to say it looks great, but it's stylish.
Yeah.
It was really out of place, though, in this movie. You know, I did write it down. Shotgun, bad CGI. She falls to her naked death. And then I have it in bold. The actress is still breathing. Again.
Yeah, she's human again. She probably couldn't breathe in that rubber suit, but she can breathe as a human.
Again, just the sloppiness.
Again, I'm like, is that all it takes to kill her? But he will blow the place up. First, he's got to say goodbye to Miranda. Thanks for giving me life. And her acting is so bad that it's undercutting what I said earlier about her being the most sympathetic. I could like her more if she could act better.
I agree with you. I also want to know when this character decided to turn good again, because when she got the full alien, she wanted to fuck everybody. She just killed the Forbes. And then as soon as she had a little baby inside her, she's sweet. It's a character turn. I don't understand why her humanity suddenly returned. Was it because she was going to have a baby? I don't know. But I'm trying to make sense of Species 4, for Christ.
But then I thought the shotgun shells were too good for this movie. Tom walks away and he's blowing up the lab. And this explosion, this massive ass practical, probably shook Mexico City to its foundations, got the attention of the cartel explosion that happens, impressed the shit out of me. And then in that director's interview, he's like, yeah, we didn't know it was going to be that big. We had a communication problem with the pyro guy, and our actor was really standing in front of it. And he said, do you want 9 charges? And we said, sure, 9 charges. We did not know it was gonna go so hard, and we're lucky that Ben didn't get hurt.
So they admit to their own incompetence.
Yeah, you know, Mexican fireworks are more powerful than what we get up here in the States, so maybe it just didn't translate as to how big of an explosion they were going to do. But I wrote that down too. It's like, whoa, there went half of your budget on that explosion right there.
And my only other question as Ben Cross wraps it up, walks away, what about these other alien hybrids? Are we just supposed to assume that they're going to die soon, and then the town will be devoid of half its population?
They're all sterile? Or hook for a sequel? That didn't happen?
Yeah, I was going to say, considering this is 2007, I don't think it's our problem. Because if they haven't followed up yet, I don't think they're going to.
You're right, we got bigger fish to fry.
So, Jason, Justin, do you recommend Awakening to Species 4? Jason.
And I love the way that you put this. Okay. Because this one was rough. I thought about when I first watched this week, maybe this is a little bit better than 3. Because it's shorter? But no, it's not. They're both red arrows. There's not a lot here that makes sense. We've been talking about it the entire time. The plot is like a string of loosely connected scenes. There's no connection to the previous movies. Technically, it's a disaster. The editing is sloppy, exposes every flaw in the picture. There's so many errors. I don't even know who Jared is. The failures are too long to list right now, but you can listen to this episode because we pointed out the whole show. Species has always kind of borrowed from Alien, but it's really missing the point. Like the first two Aliens, especially, and they're classics because of the quality, suspense, the characters, there's conflict. Species thinks that if you rip off things like the chest burster or the xenomorph tongue, or just maybe put the camera in the same spot where Cameron would put it, so you're looking up as the alien's coming down on you. Those are not the things that make Alien great, and Species is no Alien. There is not any fun to be had here, not even the so bad it's good quality that I really think Species 2 had. It is a not recommend. There is only one way that this film should be watched, and I thought about this after you said, Arnie, I think it was after Species 2, about being drunk and watching it. Not if you're drunk, but if you're hung over. This is a hangover haze movie. The kind of thing like if you just were out all night, just ingesting all kinds of alcohols, all kinds of substances into your body. You wake up the next afternoon, you stumble into the living room, you're just there on the floor, you don't move until dark, and you have the Sci-Fi channel on the entire time because you can't reach the remote. If that happens to you and Species 4 is on that day, go ahead and watch it because you're half dead and you're in a haze. The end.
Justin.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Too many strobe lights for a hangover for me, man. I think it would make me want to just Ralph, but kind of like this movie made me kind of want to Ralph. I just, man, how did we get here? How did this franchise get here? Yes, it's shorter, but man, did they lose the plot. Think back to that original Species. We had a great Natasha Henstridge debuting. It was great to see her naked. But you know what we didn't get? We didn't get a whole lot of her as a full alien, because they remember that rule, less is more, right? In that first movie, we got one scene at the end where there was some questionable CGI, but it was just enough to be like, ooh, what was that? What did I see? I couldn't really make out too many details. By the time we get to 4, it's just 2 chicks in rubber suits running around for the last 20 minutes. And it's just, you can't get glimpses of them because there's strobe lights going on. And even if you could, it's not very good looking. And man, the color grading, the griminess of this thing, the whole thing just feels gross. But I also want to ding it because you're the 4th one in this story's continuity, and you just completely move away from the other ones. There could have been easier ways, as Jason said earlier, to tie this in somehow to the other ones. I didn't need a direct continuation of Sarah's story and what went on with her and that dude walking off the bridge. But one of these guys should have been tied to the original team somehow, and they had their own little side story going on, and that's how all these other aliens got around. But the movie doesn't give us that, nor do they care to. It's just a mess of one scene to another scene, and by the time we get here, the nudity feels gross, and it feels exploitive at this point. And that's what this series has become. It's become just softcore porn with aliens in it. And I think if you're in for softcore porn on Cinemax because you're 14 years old, there's better choices for you. So yeah, this one nowhere near as fun as the Brown Arrow of 2 and shorter than 3, but still just a grimy red arrow.
You know, it's fitting that Miranda teaches at Parker University. PU, because this movie reeks. To its credit, and I say singular credit, Species: The Awakening at least tries to do something different. This time, the alien isn't a sex-crazed murder machine. She's a nice alien, like E.T. If E.T. occasionally turned into a leathery death monster and ripped people apart. It's an evolution of what they tried to initially do with Syl, and very, very poorly with Patrick. But unfortunately, with Miranda, it's buried under a mountain of bad dialogue and worse acting. And this film also recycles Species 3's worst idea, sad, broken alien hybrids. And this time cooked up by Forbes, who apparently attended the Dr. Frankenstein School of Mad Science and Poor Decision Making. And while Azura gets a few fun kills, they're really undercut by Marlene Favela's performance. The acting across the board is flatter than a dissected alien's EKG. Ben Cross and Dominic Keating, who have both delivered solid work elsewhere, phone it in like they've got 1 bar of signal and 0 interest. We're told we should care about Miranda and Tom, but the script forgets to give them personalities, And visually, the film is an unlit mess, the action is limp, the color palette is muddy sadness, and the CGI is so poorly rendered even by the modest standards of a 2007 sci-fi level TV movie. And the practical effects, normally I'm a fan. Give me real gore. Give me real latex. It usually beats pixels. But somehow these practical effects manage to be worse than the CGI. I have seen better alien suits at local Comic-Cons, let alone San Diego Comic-Con. Everything here is just so goddamn cheap. But honestly, Species should have been one and done. The original had tension, mostly slick effects, a good H.R. Giger design, and Natasha Henstridge. Everything after that has just been a slow, sad decline. 1, 2, 3, PU.
Is that your ranking?
Yep. And of course, the greatest mystery of all, where's Adam Wiley? Where's Jared? I watched this damn thing twice and didn't find him.
Does this dude have a career where you might find him at a con and you could ask him this question?
I don't recall seeing him at a convention, but I did find him on Cameo.
Oh my god. Of course you did.
And I was on Cameo not really looking for him, but I sent Stuart a get well cameo from Malcolm McDowell. And then I'm like, you know who Stuart really wants to hear of? It's not the guy from A Clockwork Orange. It's the kid from Return to Sleepaway Camp and Children of the Corn 5. So I got Stuart a cameo from Adam Wiley.
All right. So you found him.
Yeah, he found him in between like the third lead from Love Island and Ramon Estevez.
Can you ask questions? Could you ask him where he is in Species 4?
I did indeed do that.
Wait, you asked him that in your cameo request?
I placed 2 cameo requests, which had to be really weird back-to-back cameo requests from the same person.
Oh my god.
1, for my friend who's dying in the hospital. 2, hey, God. I just watched Species 4.
This is one that Species 4 is your method of coping, and then you didn't find him in the movie, so it just brought you down again.
I felt it was worth my $40 to tell Adam Wiley I watched Picket Fences, and I wanted to know, where is he in Species 4? And he auditioned for Species 4.
Oh my god, there is a story.
And was flown to Mexico and filmed his scenes. And it turns out this movie was going to have an opening kill. We weren't going to start at PU with the class about Prometheus's curse being women. We were going to start in Mexico, and Adam Wiley was going to be killed.
He was going to be killed by the alien.
Like, before we ever got to Mexico, just to tell us Mexico is dangerous, I guess. Like, we'd open with an alien killing him in Mexico, and then come to the States and meet our main characters. Then Uncle Tom takes her back to Mexico, and then we know it to be dangerous.
I think we're confusing ourselves. I think we're following the movie's logic, but I think the college they shot at was probably in Mexico as well.
Oh yeah, it was.
Okay, well yeah, so he would have just been a college student at the beginning before they even went to Mexico in the movie.
Oh, that's true. I didn't think about that. It's possible that, yeah, he was killed on campus. But whichever it was, he said that in the final edit, he was cut out of the movie, but he loved the catering, and he had a recommendation for me that I will try. I have not yet tried. He said the caterers did grilled cheese with avocado.
Okay.
And that, he said, changed his entire view of grilled cheese, and now grilled cheese with avocado is a staple of his. And so I will thank you, Adam Wiley. This movie sucked, but maybe an avocado grilled cheese would make up for it.
I'll try anything once, twice, or 3 times, so sure. Did he get paid more for the movie than you paid for his cameo?
I'm sure he did. I mean, this guy is working mostly voiceover stuff, but he's working on Cameo.
The pause made it so good. He's had a long career. You know what? It's fine. Great actor.
Well, it feels good to emerge from this cocoon of species, man. I never thought that there were 4 species movies, yet alone that I'd be sitting here watching all of them.
Do you want any more? I mean, obviously not more of what we've gotten, but should Species be salvaged? Should it be rebooted? I mean, they are bringing back I Know What You Did Last Summer, and they've brought back a lot of 90s franchises that seemed dead or went to direct-to-video.
You could absolutely try and do this series again and really lean into the DNA splicing of aliens and humans and stuff like that. I'm not sure if today they would do the sex angle, just having a horny alien walk around. I mean, look, the first Species really was lightning in a bottle. Natasha Henstridge, that's a star right there. I did give it a red arrow, but it was weak. I still think it's a movie that's of, some sort of quality that you don't see in these later ones at all. It's a real film.
Yeah, I feel like that original is a period of time where I don't know that there's much there to try to reinvigorate. Movies have come so far, special effects have come so far, so I feel like even if they did reboot it with better special effects, it would just feel like a special effects movie, and I don't know that that's what made that movie fun. It, like you said, Jason, it's Natasha, right? And unless they can find somebody like that again, the concept here isn't so alluring to me that I would rush to see a reboot.
If you just did it and took away the female alien wants to mate angle, then it's no longer Species. It's one of a million other Jurassic Park ripoffs. Because let's face it, that's what this is too, is Jurassic Park with aliens and humans instead of dinosaurs and frogs. But if you tried to keep that in, I don't know how well that would play with today's audience. I mean, even Sinners had a lot of sex, but no nudity, It seems like everybody's afraid of the nipple these days.
And that's your gimmick. You're not going to reboot a series just based on a sex gimmick, and you don't have a star. I mean, Natasha's a star, but the franchise is 30 years old. You're not going to bring her back in some sort of a reboot and say, take your top off again.
Well, maybe. That might be the hook.
Well, that is the end of our Species retrospective series. I want to thank everyone who's tuned in and listened as we did this 30th anniversary retrospective. And then next week, here on the main feed, we are going to celebrate our Fans' Choice poll by starting our Dan Brown trilogy of reviews. You guys demanded it, so we're going back. More Tom Hanks, more Ron Howard reviews as we go to the Da Vinci Code. And Justin, I know this is like a favorite of yours.
I've mentioned a few times I'm a fan of the books. The movies are like Cliff Notes, if I remember correctly. Like, I don't know that I could, if I was just a fan and had gone to the movies and had not read the books, I don't know that I could follow what was going on. But I guess we'll find out, because there's a couple of them that I don't think I've seen, but I have read all the books, so it'll be kind of fun to see how this goes.
Yeah, I've read the first book, which is actually the second book. I've read the Da Vinci Code, but that I didn't realize was the second book in the series. Angels and Demons was the first book in the series.
Yep, Da Vinci Code is the one that blew up for him.
Why did they do the films out of order?
Well, because Da Vinci Code is the best-selling English novel of all time.
Oh, it's one of those cases.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's funny, it's always Robert Langdon, and I don't know that his history from the other stories ever really overlaps with the other stories. Like, they might make mentions here and there, but to be honest with you, they're all just independent stories, so you can watch them in any order you want.
Kind of like the Jack Ryan stuff.
Yeah.
Well, that will be starting on the main feed next week for 3 weeks. And thank you for everyone who voted in that poll. And then coming up this Friday for our silver level donors, we will always be grateful for your support of Now Playing, and so we'll review I'll Always Know What You Did Last Summer.
This one I have not seen.
I never knew this movie existed.
I knew it was out there. I knew it was a direct-to-DVD thing, and I knew that it had nothing to do with the other two, so I passed by it.
Yeah, I never knew what anybody did those summers ago when this came around, so who cared at that point?
Maybe we don't want to know what they did in this third one. I don't know.
I'm about to find out, though, I guess.
Yeah, I'm looking at the cast list of this one, and I'll never know who these cast people are either. I do not watch the TV shows they've been in. I guess I have seen second build David Patecow in Final Destination 2.
Oh, that guy's in this movie? Sorry, no, I know who that guy is.
Sadly, it seems like Tori DeVito is not related to Danny DeVito. I was hoping for some comedy here, but instead we get somebody from One Tree Hill.
Bummer.
And Pretty Little Liars. But this will be available for our donors. You know, if you think the first two films are classics, maybe we'll have a classic cut-up at this direct-to-video slasher sequel from 2006. You can find the details on how to support Now Playing and hear this review at nowplayingpodcast.com/donate. So Jason, Justin, thank you for joining me. And until next time, it stinks in here. I'm going outside.
It's all over, everyone. Tomorrow you can go back to your lives. Congratulations on a job well done.
Thank you for listening to this Now Playing Podcast movie review.
Moments like these don't happen every day.
We hope you enjoyed the show.
Oh, I enjoyed that immensely.
Help us spread the word about this show by leaving a 5-star review on Stitcher, Podbean, iTunes, or your podcast store of choice.
A tremendous achievement that once again proves that if we can rise above partisan politics, America can climb to the heavens.
Want more reviews like this one? In the archives section of NowPlayingPodcast.com, you'll find more than 1,000 in-depth movie reviews from our panel of hosts.
I want to see it. I want to see everything. And after that, you'll get your reward.
On our site, you can hear reviews for every installment in the world's biggest film franchises, including the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Spider-Man, Batman, X-Men, James Bond, Middle-earth, Jurassic Park, Fast and Furious, Star Wars, and Transformers.
You never listened.
I'm listening now.
And come back to NowPlayingPodcast.com next Tuesday for another all-new movie review podcast.
It's not too soon for us to be together.
Support from listeners like you keeps Now Playing Podcast on the air.
But then maybe you haven't learned the meaning of sacrifice.
You can donate directly by tapping the support button at NowPlayingPodcast.com.
Wait. You're cutting the funding? You can't cut the funding. I can do anything I want.
And you can join our crowdfunding campaign for early access to new episodes, exclusive reviews, and bonus reviews available for a one-time contribution.
Don't turn your back on us.
Need more Now Playing? Subscribe to our In Focus weekly newsletter for exclusive digital download giveaways, celebrity interviews, behind-the-scenes insights, and more. Sign up through the subscribe page on our website and get it delivered to your inbox every Friday.
Tell him he's about to copulate with a creature from outer space.
You can also compare notes with us on Letterboxd. Go to letterboxd.com/nowplaying to see what our hosts are watching when we're not recording podcasts.
You keep your dick in your pants and your eyes on the prize.
And follow Now Playing on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and our YouTube channel.
Let's pay him a visit.
Now Playing Podcast is produced by Arnie Carvalho.
Just don't forget that I'm human too.
Associate produced by Jason Latham.
Where's a good place to find a man?
Now Playing is edited by Heath, Santiago, and Arnie.
Thank you, Mr. President. Credit goes to my crew.
The opinions expressed in this podcast are those of the individual hosts and may not reflect the views of Venganza Media Incorporated.
Hasn't anyone ever told you that size doesn't matter?
Venganza Media Incorporated is not affiliated with, and this podcast has not been prepared, approved, or licensed by any entity that created the film analyzed herein.
No records. This never happened. Burn the body now.
All movie clips and music included in this podcast are the intellectual property of their respective copyright holders. They are included here for the purpose of review and no infringement is intended.
What about protection?
Now Playing Podcast is an exclusive trademark of and may not be used without the express written permission of Venganza Media Incorporated.
But this kind of thing doesn't usually happen to me.
Now Playing is a Venganza Media production, copyright 2025, and no part of this show may be reproduced, repurposed, or redistributed without the written permission of Venganza Media Incorporated. All rights reserved.
She was half us, half something else. I wonder which was the predatory half.
The dead half. Let's get the hell out of here.
Looked a little bit like the Jin from Wishmaster. And I mean the direct-to-video sequels, where the makeup wasn't as good.
And when they couldn't get Andrew Denisoff back, you knew they were fucked.
Yes, exactly. That's right. They did replace him in the later films. We'll have to talk Wishmaster someday. Who knows what awaits.
Been trying to get Stewart to do that for like 13 years. That wish has not been granted.
And boy, did they stretch for time in this scene, though, man. This scene, between her freaking out and the procedure, this movie only runs 137 minutes.
I don't... Yeah.
Is that what you're going to correct me on?
Yeah, I was going to say
sorry.
it's not 2 hours and 17 minutes. If so, I fell asleep. When the Southerner is talking with Uncle Tom, the cinematography is extreme close-ups of their mouths.
Ugh, so gross.
And I can't explain it. I mean, it's just the hallmark of a really bad movie.
I mean, it was just weird. I mean, all right, admittedly, I did this at my wife's grandmother's 100th birthday party. They asked me to video it, and I got bored and just started doing extreme close-ups of people eating cake and made a very surreal video of extreme close-ups of...
That must have been so unsettling.
And one person realized I was doing it and stopped eating and just stared at me, and I didn't turn the camera off. It became this long thing. So... But that's all I could think about was like extreme close-ups of people eating while this is going on.